with plans for AEW stars revealed and more. This is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on, and don't forget to like the video. Going over the WrestleMania 20 match between Brock Lesnar and Goldberg, Jim Ross noted on his Grilling JR podcast, I think the payoff, if I'm not mistaken, that we did for that show is that I think he made $250,000 and so did Goldberg. I remember sitting in my office in Stamford and Vince's assistant said Brock Lesnar's on the line. He wanted to talk to Vince and Vince wants him to talk to you. So that was my prep for the conversation, and here he is. So there he goes, and so I get on the phone with him and he's in a foul mood because he got his payoff, thought he got screwed. I said, what are you basing this on? Did you do a study of the finances of this event, or did somebody tell you, one of your buddies tell you, you got screwed in your payoff? What are you basing this on? You have to give me something here. You didn't like it? And he said, I just think you guys screwed me. I said, well, we didn't screw you and I'm sorry you feel that way, and he hung up on me. With Smackdown set to move to the USA Network in October in a $1.4 billion deal over 5 years, Dave Meltzer said this about it on Wrestling Observer Radio. I know the last time I talked with somebody with WWE, and on that discussion, they told me outright that, nothing's official. I mean, these stations are going to have to all work this out and whatever. The plan as of right now, which I would say was about a month ago, I'm going to guess, is that Smackdown would be Friday. I don't know why you would do that. If you're USA, it feels utterly stupid to do Smackdown on Friday, but that was the plan as of a month ago, was for Smackdown to stay on Friday and be called Friday Night Smackdown. For an update on the legal situation of Nick Hogan, Ringside News wrote that Nick Hogan, also known as Nicholas Balea, the son of WWE Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan, attended a pre-trial hearing on Friday, February 23rd in Pinellas County Court, Florida. Originally scheduled for January 17th, the hearing had been postponed. At the recent hearing, the defense requested and was granted a motion to further delay the proceedings, with the new date set for April 13th. Balea's arrest occurred on November 18th, 2023 at 4 a.m. in Clearwater, Florida. He was apprehended upon returning home from a bikini contest hosted at his father's restaurant. Refusing to submit to a breathalyzer test upon his arrest, Balea's conduct drew attention from law enforcement. According to the arrest report, Balea's 2021 Dodge Ram approached a traffic stop set up by officers. Despite signals to pull over, he failed to vacate the median lane and maintain speed. Authorities recorded him driving at 51 miles per hour in a 40 mile per hour zone before initiating a stop. Balea exhibited signs of impairment, including a strong odor of alcohol, swaying balance, and bloodshot, glassy eyes. Subsequent field sobriety tests indicated poor performance. Police body cam footage, subsequently posted on YouTube, captured Balea's initial denial of consuming alcohol. He later attributed the odor to kissing his girlfriend, who had been drinking. Notably, Hulk Hogan, Nick's father, arrived at the scene following the traffic stop. On December 21st, 2023, Balea's legal team filed a motion seeking permission for him to enter venues serving alcohol to fulfill his DJ responsibilities. A court order had previously barred him from such establishments as a condition of his release. However, Balea requested an exception for work-related purposes. The court has yet to issue a ruling on this motion. Balea has waived his right to a speedy trial. Balea gained previous media exposure through appearances on the reality series Hogan Knows Best on VH1, as well as occasional appearances on WWE and WCW programming. A decade prior, Balea was involved in a driving incident resulting in permanent disability for family friend John Graziano. Speaking to a local ABC affiliate about Balea's recent arrest, Graziano's mother expressed dismay, citing it as a display of disrespect for the impact of his past reckless driving. She expressed hope for Balea's eventual turnaround. On X, John Cena revealed an interesting fact regarding his OnlyFans, as he wrote, I really got locked out of my X account because they thought my OnlyFans was fake. It's not. It's the real deal. Teabagging, scissoring, cream pies, and all free. Asked about possibly having his Broken Dreams entrance music brought back, Drew McIntyre told WWE's The Bump, wow, that's the first time I've ever heard that question. I get that question literally every day. I'm not exaggerating, every single day. I'm always asked about it. We had a little tease at Clash at the Castle. The cool thing about it was the fans sang along, as I knew they would because I've talked about it for so long. I always tell everybody learn the lyrics to Broken Dreams because when it happens, you better know them. What's the Cody thing? You better get ready to learn the lyrics to Kingdom, so you better get ready to learn the lyrics to Broken Dreams. When it does happen, it'd be cool if we get a little teaser of Mania. I don't know if it suits the character right now, but instead of tagging me, start tagging Triple H. He's made it very clear on the show that he's the man in charge, so tag his arse to death, saying we want a version of Broken Dreams, and I'm sure it will happen. Talking about his desire to win the WWE title before retirement, AJ Styles said this too afterwards. I need that championship one more time before I call it quits. Recalling his conversations with WWE before making his return to AEW, QT Marshall told Sportskeeda, Tony Khan and I have spoken numerous times about this. I'm not going to WWE just to be a producer. I can do that at AEW where I can work 1 day a week and I'm number whatever in the company in the top 10, whereas I go to WWE, I start at the bottom. I make less money, I'm on the road more. The only perk is that I get to be with my friend Cody Rhodes and just to say that I work for WWE, which has been my dream since I was 8 years old, but it's not my dream to be a producer for WWE. I did speak to them, and we don't know what could happen. Ideally, I'm back at AEW under an employee role. I'm back to the old position, Vice President of Creative Coordination. A lot of it is dealing with talent. It's getting the talent ideas to Tony. There is a lot of talent. They all have ideas. To me, if I wasn't going to go to WWE and wrestle when I spoke to them, it was a 3-4 minute conversation and they asked me what I wanted to do. I asked them what I would like to do, and we never got past that point. The guy that linked me up with them was like, you're already going back to AEW? Yeah, because I understand what I want to do and what I want to do even if I was a full-time in-ring talent at WWE. I couldn't do all of this stuff. For everything I want to do, this is the best fit for me unless something comes along and it's the greatest opportunity and I can't say no. Ideally, I'm not in that position, so it's not something I think about. On Instagram, El Hijo Del Vikingo revealed that he will be undergoing surgery today. As he wrote, I had not wanted to talk about the topic for expecting specific diagnoses. I have a ruptured ligament and damaged meniscus. This Thursday, February 29th, I go into surgery. We know how we got in the ring, but not how we will get down. Thank you to all who have taken the time to message me an apology for not replying, everyone. Thank you to my family for keeping an eye on my mom, my wife, my friends, and all of you for unconditional support. See you very soon. Thank you. Speaking about the dream match that never took place between him and The Undertaker, Sting said this to CBS Sports. I think if it was done right, it could have been a night for sure everyone would remember and never forget. They would be talking about it to this day, but it just was not going to happen. I thought, well, maybe if I get my foot in the door, we'll see what happens. So I got my foot in the door. We did a WrestleMania with Triple H, and then Vince McMahon called and said, hey, I want you to have a world title match with Seth. Would you be willing to do that? Yeah, I'd be willing to do that. Still in hopes that somehow I could get in there with Taker. I had so many ideas over the years. A lot of times, smoke and mirrors aren't good things. But in our situation, I think with his gimmick and the mystiques of his character in mind, we couldn't have enough smoke and mirrors. I think it definitely would have been a night that people remembered. Man, I would have loved to have seen that. If I could have had that match alone, I would have been great. I wouldn't have had to do anything else. Mentioning WWE's stance on talent attending Sting's retirement bout at AEW Revolution, it was said that Fightful has not been told that wrestlers from other companies, specifically WWE, cannot attend Sting's retirement match. Touching on the long-term plan for Will Ospreay in AEW, Sean Rossap of Fightful said, Will Ospreay is currently aligned with the Don Callis family, but sources don't expect him to be with the heel faction for long. When it comes to AEW's plan for Kazuchika Okada, Sean Ross Sapp noted that Okada's New Japan Pro Wrestling deal expired at the end of January, making him a free agent. AEW had long maintained interest in him joining the company. By early February, Fightful Select had reported that Okada was expected to go to All Elite Wrestling and would be debuting once he'd finished up his freelance obligations with NJPW. We'd also noted that the first half of March was expected to be a huge one for AEW. Mercedes Moné is planned for a debut on March 13th. Will Ospreay is debuting as a full-time wrestler for AEW in-ring at March 3rd's Revolution. The company is poised for many visual changes, and Sting's retirement is going down. In addition to that, we're told that the company has been hoping and at least tentatively planning for Kazuchika Okada to be in the fold by the March 6th episode of Dynamite. Tony Khan noted on today's media call that there's something he's very excited about coming in Atlanta for next week's Dynamite. We've heard plenty of discussion that Okada debut there, but have heard from numerous sources that the hope as of mid-February was for Okada to appear in the company by then. Revealing how WWE kept the NXT return of Shawn Spears under wraps, Ringside News wrote that according to Fightful Select, Shawn had not been listed on internal run sheets or documents leading up to the show, adding to the element of astonishment. Interestingly, it was noted that Shawn Michaels had stepped in to rehearse Spears' role in the Holland segment earlier in the day, underscoring the secrecy surrounding Spears' return. Spears had apparently inked a new deal to return to WWE NXT prior to the airing of the first three Faces vignette, indicating that his comeback had been in the works for some time. Before his on-screen return, Spears remained hidden backstage, building anticipation for his appearance. Following his explosive comeback in the ring, Spears received a warm reception backstage, affirming his status as a welcomed addition to the NXT roster. During the AEW Revolution media call, president of the company, Tony Khan, said this about Sting's retirement, telling Contralona, "Sting, I hope, will remain with us in spirit forever. I believe he'll be affiliated with us. Last night, he joked he was going to come back and throw on the headset. I would love that. I think we would all love for Sting to come back and be a part of the show. Sting is always welcome here." One thing about Sting, when he did this comeback, especially the hardcore fans of wrestling who know all the inner workings and details of the industry may appreciate this. When he came back in 2020, he did not need the money. Sting is very well off and has earned a lot of money in his career and has taken care of it very well. He's a great person and has made great investments. He does this because he loves it. He loves the fans, and he wanted to have a great run in wrestling, and for these past 3 years, that's exactly what we've done. For me, I would love to have Sting back in AEW at any time, and I know he said he would like to come back. We won't hold him or force him to come back at any point. It's not like we've locked in dates where he's definitely going to be there or contracted him. It's going to be really nice after 3 years of pushing himself and have the longevity in his career that all wrestlers can aspire to and dream of. Now is a great time for Sting to take time for himself and his family after this. Whatever the result is on Sunday, Sting can take pride that he's had the most incredible final run that I can remember. We're excited about the final match, and after that, we'll see how Sting feels, and I'm going to leave that to him. He knows the door is open and he's welcome at AEW forever, and we definitely want Sting representing AEW for as long as there is an AEW, because to me, he's our greatest legend and has been part of some of our greatest memories in the short history of AEW and in my lifetime. Part of some of the greatest memories in all of pro wrestling. That's why he deserves this send-off so much that he's getting. Giving his thoughts on Vince McMahon following the sex trafficking lawsuit being filed against him and WWE, Sergeant Slaughter told Pro Wrestling Bits, "No, my opinion has not changed about Vince McMahon. I was hired by Vince McMahon Sr. If it wasn't for Vince McMahon Sr. and fellows like Pat Patterson, Harley Race, Lord Alfred Hayes, and Roddy Piper, I wouldn't be sitting in front of you today. They all were part of what I became and the character that I created. Vince Jr. was always there to let you go full bore. When he asked me to be the Iraqi sympathizer, I said I'll do it, but I want to be able to go all the way with it. If I'm going to do what you asked, I want you to let me do it all the way. I don't want to do it halfway. Vince McMahon said, Sarge, you take care of that character. You take it as far as you can, and if you go too far, I'll pull you back. Explaining what WWE should do with Austin Theory, Eric Bischoff noted on his 83 Weeks podcast, I'd probably take him off the air until I figured out what I really wanted to do with him, even if it took a couple of months of character work and exploration and trying different things and bring him back, because the audience is still kind of resisting him just a bit. Mentioning his drug test failures from WWE, Matt Riddle told the MMA Hour, no, they didn't make any of the offenses public. They wanted to keep it on the hush-hush, and they punished me by fining me. I went to the strip club and did some cocaine a couple of times, and I failed the drug test. Well, that was for all of them. It was cocaine each time. Honestly, for me, and probably just from my experience with the UFC, I thought I was going to get fired a long time ago just because, I don't know, I got fired from the UFC. I was on a 4-fight win streak, and then I got fired. So after that, I'll be honest, I just think I'm going to get fired any day because you just never know. Some guys don't, some guys do. So that's how I always played it. And then after I went to rehab and stuff like that and I got out, I didn't even think they're going to bring me back. It was WrestleMania season. I wasn't on Mania. And a lot of times they do the budget cuts right after there. So I was like, think it's already chopping block time? And that didn't happen. Then TKO merger and then plus my shenanigans, just acting a fool half the time didn't help things. But at the same time, like I said, I think it was best for everybody. Honestly, the day I got fired, I remember, and I don't mean this in a bad way, it's not like mean, it's not a dig to WWE, but it was probably one of the biggest reliefs I've had in a long time. Because for the last 7 years, I was under contract with them, working very hard, and before that was working really hard to get there. I didn't take one vacation like they give you vacation, but I always made sure I didn't miss work, and I didn't take a vacation in like 7 years. Wow, I think my vacation was my time in rehab. So if you added up all my weeks over the 7 years, probably the most amount of time I spent there was my vacation time that I earned over the course of. During that same interview, Matt Riddle had this to say regarding the proposed ending to his tag team with Randy Orton in WWE. This was my suggestion, and talking to everybody in the office, and even Randy agreed, was the smarter idea would be if I turned on him. Because Randy being the legend that he is, and me just being a babyface, even if Randy turned on me and is a bad guy, he is a legend. He is Randy. He has done more pay-per-views, more Raws, more than like everybody. Even if you boo him, you'd love to boo him. So I'm like, guys, me trying to get sympathy when Randy is beating me isn't going to work. They're just going to cheer Randy beating me up. Now, if I attack Randy when you're not expecting it and hurt Randy and I take him away, the crowd is going to be real mad at me. And I'm going to have nuclear heat, and we have good chemistry, and the story will play out as it shall. Going over the legal situation of a former pro wrestler, Ringside News wrote that Billy Jack Haynes, a former WWE star from the 80s, was taken into custody in relation to a tragic shooting incident involving his wife, Jeanette McCraft, in Portland's Lentz neighborhood. Following a fatal shooting at 6000 Southeast 100th Avenue, a shelter-in-place order was issued as police responded to the incident involving Billy Jack Haynes and his wife, Jeanette McCraft. Haynes, arrested after a standoff, was taken to the hospital for medical attention. It was previously reported that Haynes was hospitalized in Portland, Oregon, and would be charged in relation to the murder of his wife once he was discharged from the hospital. According to KOIN, Billy Jack Haynes has been charged with murder in the second degree and unlawful use of a weapon in relation to the death of his wife in Portland, Oregon. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.